Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. This is Takkar rapid test series, or simply the 10 MCQs that we are solving on daily basis. These are based on current affairs of today's, or we can say that yesterday's or this week's current affairs. So we are solving these 10 MCQs on daily basis. I hope that you are following these 10 MCQs. Yes, we are trying to maintain the quality of the question, and yes, the explanation of these 10 MCQs is attached with in the description of this video. So you can see that explanation later on. Without any delay, let's start with today's MCQs. Okay, this is the first MCQ. With reference to sovereign green bond, it is asking these statements about sovereign green bond, and we have to identify the incorrect statement. See, whenever we are solving any MCQ, we need to first identify the command of the question. कमांड मतलब यहाँ पे जो दिया हुआ रहता है या पहला स्टेटमेंट जो दिया रहता है, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट और इनकरेक्ट, विच ऑफ द अबव गिवन स्टेटमेंट्स आर इनकरेक्ट, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग पेयर्स आर करेक्टली मैच और इनकरेक्टली मैच. वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई इट फर्स्ट. ठीक है, तो सोवरिन ग्रीन बॉन्ड से रिलेटेड इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट्स हमें आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं. लेट्स सी. First one, it can be issued only by Reserve Bank of India for environmentally sustainable projects. See, the second part of the statement, for environmentally sustainable project, that is true, but only by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. This is not correct. Okay, simply as the name suggests, sovereign green bond. So sovereign entities, especially we can say that government. Sovereign entities are government, or we can say that public sector undertakings which are owned by the government. तो उनको हम बोल सकते हैं दे कैन इशू, नॉट बाय वी कैन से दैट आरबीआई सिंपली. सो ओनली से भी आप एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं, जनरली इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट होता है. देन द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट, इट कैन नॉट बी ट्रेडेबल इन द सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट. सी, एज इट इज बॉन्ड, जनरली बॉन्ड्स आर दोज सिक्योरिटीज विच आर ट्रेडेबल ऑन दिस इन द सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट, राइट. सो सिंपली वी कैन एलिमिनेट दिस ऑल्सो. यस, दे आर ट्रेडेबल and it cannot be बोला गया है, so it is incorrect statement. First one is also incorrect statement. Now money raised through sovereign green bonds forms the part of overall government borrowing. Now when the government is issuing these bonds, basically it is raising the money after the expiry of that period or maturity period. Simply we can say maturity period of that bond. So government is going to return that money with some kind of interest, the stated interest. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर मतलब क्या है कि बेसिकली इट इज ओवरऑल गवर्नमेंट बोरोइंग का वो पार्ट होता है. सो थर्ड स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट्स हियर. सो 1 and 2 आर इनकरेक्ट, राइट. सो आंसर शुड बी हियर 1 and 2 ओनली. ओके, नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट. सी द कॉन्टेक्स्ट हियर, ग्रीन बॉन्ड्स आउट ऑन जनवरी 25. व्हाट दे आर, ये सारा चीज एक्सप्लेन्ड पेज पे आया हुआ है. Now consider the following statements regarding EPIC, election photo identity card. E means electronic, generally we know about this. ठीक है, तो E governance या जो सारी चीजें बोलते हैं हम उसको, right. So we have to identify the correct statements regarding this. Okay, so it is electronic version of voter ID card in JPG format. Now it is true that it is electronic version of voter ID card, but not in JPG format. थोड़ा सा specific information है, but it is, we can say that required many times it is in use. Simply we can say that it is in PDF format and not in JPG format. So first statement is incorrect. Second, it is equally valid as proof of document for voter identification as EPIC. That is true. Okay, so the electronic, we can say that voter or election photo identity card is or can be used for as a proof for document for voter identification similar to EPIC. Now it is non-editable and hence cannot be forged. Yes, this is also true. It is non-editable document and it cannot be forged. So second and third statement is correct. Regarding, if we talk about the photo identity card, we all know that the voter ID cards are given to those in India 18 years and above. Now, if we talk about the constitutional provisions, yes, which article talks about this? Article 326 talks about universal adult franchisee. It talks about universal adult franchisee, and in India, the universal adult franchisee, that means everyone at a particular age and above are eligible to vote. This is what we adopted in the constitution, and after adopting this, immediately 21 years was the age, but later on it was reduced to 18 years and above. At present it is 18 years old, irrespective of we can say the background of the person, region, religion, caste, gender. Everyone above 18 and above, we can say that age, are eligible to vote in India. Article 326. Remember this, it can be asked in the prelims examination, and here the answer is 2 and 3 only, D is correct. Okay, now moving on. Yes, ठीक है, यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं why it is in news. Less than 1% of voters downloaded EPIC 2 years after the digital voter ID was announced. Next, okay, it is talking about superbugs. Okay, consider the following. Which of the above mentioned organisms can be included under the definition of superbugs? Okay, so superbugs is not like cyber term, ठीक है, cyber security या cyber space से related नहीं है. Rather, superbugs are related to medicine field, ठीक है, या फिर biology से related है, हम बोल सकते हैं. Now, superbugs are basically those organisms which have become resistant to medication or antibiotics which are used to treat disease caused by these organisms. Simply we can take the example of bacteria. Example लेते हैं bacteria का. So TB. If we talk about the TB disease that is caused by the bacteria. Now, what we have observed over the period of time, due to some reasons, we can say that not completion of doses is one of the reason, but there is emergence of multi-drug resistance, MDR TB, and some of the cases has gone beyond MDR and they are being called as XDR, extremely drug resistant TB. Extremely drug resistance TB. So basically that organism causing TB has become resistant to the medication or antibiotics used here. Okay, some of the other examples like urinary tract infection, generally we can say that, or the fungal infection on the body, skin disease, okay, fungal infection. ये examples है जहाँ से superbugs develop होते हुए दिखाई दे रहे हैं. Now we all know that AMR, many times in news, antimicrobial resistance. This is what we are talking here. It is related to, or superbugs is related to this AMR. Okay, and talking about the definition of superbugs, which all are included, these all bacteria, viruses, parasites as well as fungi, all four are or can be considered under the definition of superbugs. So D is the correct answer here. Okay, superbugs are here and they are resistant to. Arrange the following renewable sources of energy in decreasing order of their total contribution in installed capacity at present in India. Such kind of standard questions, ठीक है, ये काफ़ी standard question होता है और हमें इसके बारे में facts पता होना चाहिए, data पता होना चाहिए at present. Okay, so yes, solar power, wind power, waste to energy, large hydro project, it is being asked here. Now one can get confused between solar power and large hydro projects. मैं बता रहा हूँ कहाँ पे confuse होगा. जैसे waste to energy is very new thing और उस पे अभी तक large install capacity नहीं है. We all know about this. Now one can simply mention that or identify that it is the least one. अगर ये आप identify करते हैं तो by elimination method also you can mark D is the correct answer. Elimination method. Okay, because waste to energy at present is considerably very low installed capacity. अगर ये आप identify करते हैं, that is the answer simply. Now talking about the other aspects, yes, solar energy is at present and it has crossed the large hydro project install capacity. सोलर एनर्जी पे लास्ट 5-10 ईयर्स में काफी ज्यादा इम्पेटस दिया है प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट, एंड दैट्स व्हाई द इंस्टॉल कैपेसिटी ऑफ सोलर पावर हैज इंक्रीज एंड गॉन बियॉन्ड द लार्ज हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट्स. ठीक है, सो यू शुड नो अबाउट दिस. सो 1, 4 एंड देयर आफ्टर ऑफ कोर्स 2 एंड देन 3. दिस इज द करेक्ट सीक्वेंस इन डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर. 1, 4, 2, 3. Okay, wind power. Fine. Moving on. Yes, a share of renewable increases in grid, government explores storage options. Such kind of context can be taken from these news. Consider the following statement about types of inflation. Now these are very standard statements. We have to identify the correct statement about it. Yes, headline inflation. Headline inflation refers to the change in the value of goods in the basket except food and fuel. अब बहुत बार कंफ्यूजन होता है, अलग अलग टाइप के इन्फ्लेशन के वर्डिंग्स न्यूज़ में होता है, राइट. कोर इन्फ्लेशन, हेडलाइन इन्फ्लेशन, और वी कैन से गैलपिंग इन्फ्लेशन, फ्लाई अवे इन्फ्लेशन, और सम काइंड ऑफ टर्म्स आर ऑलवेज इन न्यूज़. ठीक है, तो क्या मीनिंग है इन टर्म्स का? दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन. ओके, नाउ हेडलाइन इन्फ्लेशन इज बेसिकली ओवरऑल रिटेल इन्फ्लेशन, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ओवरऑल रिटेल इन्फ्लेशन, विच इंक्लूड्स फूड एज वेल एज फ्यूएल, विच इंक्लूड्स फूड एज वेल एज फ्यूएल. सो इनकरेक्ट है ये, यहाँ पे एक्सेप्ट बोला है ना, तो ये इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट है. नाउ द कोर इन्फ्लेशन इज मोर वोलेटाइल देन द हेडलाइन इन्फ्लेशन. फर्स्ट लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज कोर इन्फ्लेशन. नाउ कोर इन्फ्लेशन इज इक्वल टू हेडलाइन इन्फ्लेशन माइनस बेसिकली food fuel items. Now why these are removed here or subtracted from headline inflation? Because they are volatile. The prices of food and fuel are volatile in India or Indian economy, and that's why they do not give the true picture of inflation, the long term picture of inflation. When we subtract them from headline, we get the core inflation. The core inflation is much stable and gives the true picture of inflation in the economy, and that's why core inflation is more volatile बोला गया है. It is incorrect. It is more stable. We can say both statements are incorrect. Neither one nor two. D is the correct answer. Neither one nor two. Okay, fine. Okay, ठीक है. उसी के बारे में कुछ. Consider the following statement about abortion rules in India. Now, abortion was recently in news because of Supreme Court judgment. अभी फिर से न्यूज़ में आया था एक मुंबई में केस है जहां पर जुडिशरी हैज नॉट टेकन इनटू कॉग्निजेंस ऑफ दिस सुप्रीम कोर्ट रीसेंट जजमेंट टॉकिंग अबाउट नो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन बिटवीन मैरिड एंड अनमैरिड वुमेन रिगार्डिंग द अबॉर्शन ऑफ द टाइम बिटवीन द टाइम पीरियड ऑफ 20 to 24 वीक्स. इसके बारे में जो है ये न्यूज में है, राइट. ओके, सो इन इंडिया women's right to abortion is fundamental right. Now here you may get confused. You should know that from time to time the Supreme Court has interpreted Article 21 and the subject matter under it, right to life and personal liberty, in a very liberal and broader manner. In a liberal and broader manner. And in that interpretation, it has also included right to have safe abortion. Right to have safe abortion. Or simply we can say that the bodily integrity and autonomy of women. Bodily integrity and autonomy of women. Or right to choose. The choice aspect we can say. ठीक है, so all these are part of Article 21 of Indian Constitution, and that's why we can say that it is women's right, fundamental right under Article 21. Unmarried women cannot terminate pregnancy between 20 weeks to 24 weeks. अगर आप current affairs नहीं पढ़ रहे तो you may get this wrong. Supreme Court has given judgment regarding this and said that unmarried women have also equal access to the abortion like married women under this medical termination of pregnancy. जो 1971 का जो एक्ट है, तो दिस इज ऑल्सो इनकरेक्ट. ठीक है, बट ये फर्स्ट करेक्ट है, सो वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट हियर एंड दैट्स व्हाई 2 ओनली इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है, ओके. नाउ मूविंग ऑन. ओके, in the context of manufactured sand, consider the following statement and we have to identify the correct statements here. Manufactured sand, it was in news recently. As the name suggests, ये artificially manufacture हो रहा होगा. Manufactured sand. Naturally, sand is found, we can say that largely in the coastal areas, as well as we can say that the desert areas and in the river beds. Sand जो मिलता है. Okay, so let's see the statements. It is produced by crushed hard granite stone and is not substitute of river sand for concrete construction. Now if you are manufacturing, simply use the logic, if you are manufacturing the sand, of course it must be substitute, otherwise why we are manufacturing it if we are simply extracting from the river. So we all know that the sand mining from the river beds is one of the important ecological issue at present, and for dealing with that issue, this kind of manufactured sand is being explored here. Recently, Coal India had, we can say that, installed this plant in West Bengal. That's why it is in news. ठीक है. Second statement, it does not contain organic and soluble compounds. That is true. First is incorrect, right? It does not have the presence of impurities such as clay and dust. This is also true. These are the properties which are useful for, we can say the sand can be used for concrete construction or construction purpose. Soluble, अगर organic compounds और soluble compounds हो गए तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, decomposition शुरू करेगा organic compound, तो इसकी value कम हो जाएगी, इसकी strength कम हो जाएगी. ठीक है. ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स, दे आर, वी कैन से इमीडिएटली दे आर रिएक्टिंग, या फिर जो सॉल्यूबल हो गए वो वाटर से रिएक्ट करके उसकी स्ट्रेंथ कम कर देगा. सो 2 and 3 ओनली वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट. बी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ओके, नाउ मूविंग ऑन. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ स्प्रिंट इनिशिएटिव. ठीक है, स्प्रिंट इनिशिएटिव जो है इंडियन नेवी का है, रिमेंबर दिस, एंड दिस इज फॉर इंडिजिनाइजेशन ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. Indigenization of technology. Okay, so let's see the statements and we have to identify the correct ones. Initiative aimed at boosting the usage of indigenous technology in Indian Navy. This is true. Now it will help India in its vision to act as a net security provider. Of course, अगर उसमें मतलब आपको पता नहीं है तो भी आप उसमें लॉजिक यूज कर सकते हो ना, कि नेवी है, इंडिया का नेवल प्रेजेंस जो है कहाँ पर होना चाहिए, इंडियन ओशन में, एंड वी वांट टू बिकम द नेट सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइडर इन इंडियन ओशन रीजन. दिस इज व्हाट वी विजन अंडर सागर. ठीक है, प्रोवाइडिंग सिक्योरिटी टू द इंडियन ओशन और इन दोज कंट्रीज इन द इंडियन ओशन रीजन. ठीक है, तो वी कैन से दैट बोथ स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट हियर. फाइन. नाउ मूविंग ऑन. ये स्प्रिंट का जो फुल फॉर्म है, ठीक है, यहाँ पर देखिए, अब इंडियन नेवी साइंस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर ऑटोनॉमस, वी कैन से दैट आर्म बोट स्वार्म्स अंडर स्प्रिंट स्कीम. एक प्राइवेट कंपनी है, उसके साथ इन्होंने सागर डिफेंस इंजीनियरिंग प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, उनके साथ उन्होंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया है अंडर स्प्रिंट इनिशिएटिव. दिस स्प्रिंट इनिशिएटिव का काफी बड़ा फुल फॉर्म है, यूपीएससी नहीं पूछेगा. ठीक है, जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट. अगर हमें समझता है कि स्प्रिंट क्या होता है, स्प्रिंट रनिंग होता है ना, वन कैन गेट कंफ्यूज बिटवीन आर्मी एंड नेवी. ठीक है, उनको लगेगा कि आर्मी वाला होगा स्प्रिंट है तो, बट इट इज नॉट. ठीक है, यस. नेक्स्ट, the makers of the Indian Constitution preferred the phrase Union of States over the Federation of States. Which of the following was the rationale behind it? Very standard question. It can be solved from 11th standard NCERT Constitution at Work or M. Laxmikant polity part. ठीक है, so there are two reasons when Dr. Ambedkar, we can say, was drafting the constitution. He gave these two reasons, and one among them was basically क्या है? D. Yes, second. Union of India is indestructible in nature as states do not have right to secede. This is one of the reason. What is the second reason? Indian Federation is not formed through agreement among the states. Like US. In US, there is United States of America and there is agreement among the states, and that's why the federation is formed. There is strict federation, we can say, but in India what we have is the union, or we can say that federation with union bias, ऐसा हम बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है. So that's why the word union is used in the preamble or simply in the constitution, not preamble, in the article 1, ठीक है. So remember this two reasons. ये standard question है polity का. Fine. Now it is an economic activity in the infancy stage that shows the potential to grow rapidly in the developing market. High growth rates and numerous startups establishments with the abundance of venture capital investment characterizes this particular industry. Which of the following best reflects this?
Sunrise industry.
Very good. So yes, sunrise industry is the correct answer here. It is showing that simply the industry is at nascent stage and in future it is having potential. Examples? Sunrise industry. For example, in India we can talk about like food processing industry, renewable energy, or simply solar sector. We can talk about that. Yes, we can also talk about this what you can say, those food distribution वाले जो हम बोल सकते हैं, that sector is there. Okay, so food processing industry we can talk about sunrise industry. Okay, or eco-tourism.
IT service delivery is important. Another country, India is giving lots of country IT services. IT services.
हाँ, IT सेक्टर, बट जनरली हम जो जब NCERT रेफर करते हैं तो वहाँ पे IT सेक्टर लिखा हुआ है और वो पुराना है अभी, ओल्डर वन, ठीक है. देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज सनसेट इंडस्ट्री ऑल्सो, जहाँ पे जो है अभी पीक आ चुका है, प्लेट्यू स्टेज है और वहाँ पे ज़्यादा अभी स्कोप नहीं है ग्रोथ का, प्लेट्यू स्टेज आना. फॉर एग्जांपल कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, ठीक है, उसमें आगे ज़्यादा बढ़ नहीं रहा है अभी कोई भी चीज़. कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री एग्जाम्पल यू कैन गिव. सनसेट. Fine, so you all know about this. Now all these are the 10 MCQs for today's session, and you can see the explanation in the description of this video and you can further enrich your content. Okay, fine, thank you.
The first step towards achieving your dreams is having the right coach. Get the best education with Lukmaan IAS and make your UPSC dreams come true. Download the app now.